have an age difference. We have life differences.
This is how you should live your life.
I got the faith, because to get the faith,
Got it. Well, let's jump into this.
this is the Old School, New School podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Old School, New School podcast. I am Will Charles Egan, and as always,
Chris Meekins.
this has become a laundromat today. If you hear a dryer in the background, that's
Yes.
because this is a laundromat.
And we got kids coming for 10 days. So
Oh, boy. Are
we
you
gotta
excited?
Get the laundry today.
Are you excited about that?
No, not at all. I might be sleeping down the street by the time.
Uh-oh.
They bring a lot of energy. There's 3 little kids, and just one family's coming for this next 10 days. And so,
Is that what makes you a Grinch?
Which helps you don't realize how quiet my life is until they show up.
Yes, good point.
And most Florida's, guests are like fish. After 3 days, they stink.
That's true.
So we were just talking about shows, TV shows, like
Yes.
Outer Limits,
Outer Limits.
which he doesn't know anything
Never.
about. Star Trek,
Love Star Trek.
and including the original.
Oh, yeah. I've watched the old 60s.
You watched every single one of them.
Every single episode up until the 2005 one. Yep. That was Star Trek Enterprise, which is like the big prequel before the original TV show. There was Star Trek Enterprise. And so watched all that because all the new stuff's garbage. They still have like TV shows playing right now, and it's all trash.
Yeah.
But I've watched all the classic Star Trek stuff. I've got set pieces and like blueprints and actual signed posters from the original movie, like, Captain Kirk and Spock's signature. And
And he's like old.
he's 94, Captain Kirk. But yeah, no, my uncle and my aunt used to work on the set of The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and Voyager. But I'm having
And
a
then
moment.
the Twilight Zone. Did you watch that too?
Yep, watched a couple. William Shatner, Captain Kirk, was on a couple episodes of The Twilight Zone. Those were fun. That was the one where there's a thing on the airplane wing outside the window.
Yes. And 45 people disappeared.
Right.
On June 14th, and then they just show like an empty field, and it's like bizarre.
Super corny looking black and white TV show.
Yeah.
Really cool though. I mean, it still holds up to this day, but has nothing to do with what we want to talk about.
Nothing. We want to talk about inviting people to the table.
Yes.
So there's this table in the Bible talks about the feast.
Yes.
Okay, the table set.
Mm-hmm.
Explain that to our people.
Yeah. So there's the marriage supper, which is kind of like it's using like
Banquet table.
Yeah, the banquet from a wedding as like an analogy, but it's also literally going to happen. Do you think for you having a ton of people over for like feasts and banquets and holidays, is that what makes you a Grinch during Christmas, or you think that's what does it?
No, I think that I don't know how to behave. I don't know how to act, because you always, like when you have kids,
Right.
you're always like trying to be in control, which was my problem.
That was your problem. Yes.
Yeah, which was my problem, trying to control it. And so then you end up being aggravated because it's not going like you did it.
Right.
But now it doesn't bother me, because I'm like, hey,
Good.
I got 10 days to spend with these people, and then they're going to go. I can do anything for 10 days. And so
There you go.
I'm enjoying it. So
Cool. Because at the very
talk to me next week.
once
After
it's
7 days, we'll be like,
in the middle of it.
wow,
Oh my god.
man, can't shut up.
Are we gonna get kicked out for our podcast next week?
I don't know. Haven't thought that far in the
Yeah,
house.
we'll figure it out when we get there.
that one out. So the table, the
Yeah.
banquet table,
So there's going to be a lot of people at this big banquet table at the end of the age.
and God's like preparing a table. I've gone to prepare a place for you.
Yeah.
Is that where that comes from?
Yeah, that's specifically like the house where we're going to stay. But yeah, I mean, Psalm 23, he prepares a table for me in the presence of my enemies. He's always really preparing this place for you, whether it be a home, whether it be a table to eat. But there's this, it's part of Jewish culture because Jesus was a Jew and he would use these Jewish analogies a lot to kind of convey his teaching. But like having a big, this isn't necessarily like a Jewish only culture because everybody does it, but like having a big banquet was the meeting place for family, right? A big table. We've got multiple generations at one table eating dinner together. And it's very important, God stresses the importance of family, the importance of generations, and the blessing of spending time together with your family. And there's a good place that he's preparing for all those who believe in him.
And so obviously for generations, for thousands of years, the kitchen or the dining room table was the place where you met, you talked, you entertained, you sat there. They didn't have TV.
Right.
They didn't have TV dinners.
No, yeah.
Yeah. They didn't have Chipotle.
Right.
They didn't have DoorDash.
DoorDash is the enemy of
Jesus.
Jesus, that's right.
And they didn't have cell phones.
I think you told me this because, you're a real estate agent, but the biggest room in the house up until whenever was...
Probably in the last, I'd say 20 to 30 years, they basically tried to eliminate the dining room table. Where before, there's like up in Cleveland, there's some old towns. There's like right outside the city, a city called Lakewood, or in the city itself. And the kitchen would be as big as this table, and the dining room would be 10 times the size of this table.
Interesting.
And that was shut off.
Right.
And they would just sit, and you would sit there and have hours of conversation because what are you going to do? Go.
No, there's no TV. There's books.
Read a book.
Yeah, that's lame.
And they weren't as good as they are now.
Correct.
They aren't as good as the book that we're trying to write ever.
If we ever get to it.
But there was food, and it reflects the very heart of God. God likes to be in community. God likes being in relationships. And relationships happen around the table. So Jesus has always been about the table.
Absolutely.
So they talked about that, and they were invited in Luke 4. Do you remember that part this morning?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the the teaching that he gave. I'm pretty sure, or maybe it was.
Well,
14.
we started with 4, but
but
then the house was full. Luke 14.
Yes, let's go to Luke 4. So then Jesus heals many. This is. So it says in Luke 4, he announces that a promise is fulfilled, good news for the poor, freedom for the oppressed, hope for the broken. Wasn't a message just for the religious elite. It was for the lonely, the overlooked, and the outcast.
And so that's what the table's about. It's for everybody. It's for homeless, up and out, down and out, and everybody in between. So Revelation. So then they talked about it, Revelation 3:20. Jesus said, "I stand at the door and knock," and he doesn't force. And that's how Jesus is. Yeah. He doesn't force his way in.
Right.
So it says,
he's a gentleman.
And what's that? It goes, "I stand at the door and knock, and I will come in and I will dine with you." Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah, I'll read it. Revelation. See how quick I am with my phone?
You are fast, man.
Revelation 3:20 says, "Here I am. I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with that person and they with me."
And so they also use this verse. Hey, let's just go here right now. They use this verse for people to come to know Christ.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how do they use that? If you were sharing someone wanted to know about spiritual things, how would you use that verse?
Yeah, well, I would say that, in the context of this, that Jesus is always at the door of your life, per se. And he's always knocking, asking for a way in to your heart.
Because we have free will.
Yes, because we have the choice to accept him or not. Some people believe other religions. Some people don't believe anything at all. And Jesus is always there through all of that, going, hey, I want to be a part of your life. I want to eat with you, because there's blessings in this world or the next. You will experience the good, certainly in the next life, but you will certainly experience the goodness of God if you allow him into your life. And he's saying, I'm here. Do you want this? It's a free gift.
I stand at the door and knock. If anyone, I will come into him, and I will dine with him.
I'll dine with him.
And he'll live ever after. So just that's the verse you want to know, that God's word talks about becoming a Christian. If you say, well, where does it say that God wants? Well, there it is.
Yeah, he wants to be.
He wants.
It's not just like, oh, if you want, I guess. God's like, no, I want to be in your life.
So then he went on and talked about the tables for everyone, and Jesus wants his house full. He wants a full house, and that's where Luke 14 came in.
Where it is. Yeah. You ever watch that TV show Full House?
I tried not to.
You tried not to?
Yeah.
Like the way you tried not to watch Seinfeld?
Yes. No, that one was. Why didn't I like it? I don't know.
It's just not.
It was a kid's show.
It kind of is a kid's show.
Yeah. I would be like, go watch TV. I got,
Yeah.
I don't need to be in a room with you 24/7 like they.
Yeah. Full House is a bit of a crazy example of what it looks like to have a big family all under one roof. But one of my favorite parables as of recently, I heard this. They didn't mention this last part in the message today, but I heard this not too long ago from I believe it was a Tony Evans sermon that I was listening to, but it was Luke 14, 16 through, towards the end of it,
23,
23 and 24. And it says, a certain man was, and this is Jesus speaking, a certain man was preparing a great banquet and invited many guests. At the time of the banquet, he sent his servant to tell those who had been invited. Okay, so people are invited to this banquet.
Right.
There are specific people that this master has chosen to bring to said banquet.
Okay.
So he sends his servant to go invite these people, the people who have been invited. Come, for everything is now ready. But they all alike began to make excuses. Uh-oh. The first said, I've just bought a field and I must go see it. Please excuse me. Excuse. Another said, I've just bought 5 yoke of oxen and I'm on my way to try them out. Please excuse me. Another excuse. Still another
Lame.
said, yeah, seriously. Another said, I just got married, so I can't come.
Lame.
I mean, seems like a good excuse though, right? I just got married, so I can't come to this banquet. But the servant comes back and reports to his master. Then the owner of the house became angry and ordered his servant, go out quickly into the streets and alleys of the town and bring in the poor, the crippled, the blind, and the lame. So it went from people who were invited,
right?
People of high esteem or whatever. So none of them they don't want to be a part of this. Not they just don't want to. They have everything that they need already. I don't want to be a part of this banquet. And so this master says, all right, fine. Go invite those that are, poor, crippled, blind, and lame.
Whoever you see, invite them.
Just bring them all in. Sir, the servant said, what you have ordered has been done, but there is still room. Then the master told a servant, go out to the roads and country lanes and compel them to come in so that my house will be full. I tell you, not one of those who were invited will get a taste of my banquet. Ooh.
He's like, hey, man, it's going to be like awesome. And you're going to miss out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to make sure there's not going to be any space for you to show up.
Yeah. So how about that? What does that make you think of?
Well, I think about, heaven. I think that there's been people for years, hey, man, I invited you, and you could have been part of that, but you just didn't want to come. Mm-hmm. You just thought it was, and that's when I see it. What I don't understand is at the end when a couple people come in wearing rags, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. You're going to get your butt kicked for wearing your jeans to this thing." I often worried about that. I'm like, because I'm white trash, man. So.
Exactly. That's you and me we're talking about. So in Matthew 22, describes Jesus telling them the parable of the wedding banquet. So similar, Jesus is preparing, or the kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to those who had been invited to the banquet, tell them to come, but they refused to come. And so this is a different description of this parable. Same parable, different book, different author. And so, it kind of goes into depth a little bit more that it's not just any old banquet, that it's a wedding banquet.
Right.
And so this wedding banquet is like a big celebration, and people who were invited never got themselves there because they were too preoccupied with the things of the world, right? So they're already with their oxen and their fields and their marriages and their I have a doctor's appointment at the dentist. Yeah, life happens. And so, then he says, all right, fine, screw them. Let's invite everybody else from the streets and from the countryside. But then here, Matthew 22:11, this is what you were talking about here. But when the king came in to see the guests, he noticed a man there who was not wearing wedding clothes. He asked, how did you get in here without wedding clothes, friend? Interesting. Mm-hmm. Calls him friend. The man was speechless. Then the king told the attendants, tie him hand and foot and throw him outside into the darkness where there will be weeping of gnashing of teeth. For many are invited, but few are chosen. Whoa.
Whoa.
So we're in this sermon, we're talking about the spirit of Christmas and inviting people to the table and to the banquet. And yes, that's the story in Luke is there's no exclusions.
Right.
Everybody's invited.
Everybody's coming. Yeah.
When it comes to, come to church, right? Anybody's invited. When it comes to your salvation, though, when it comes to, okay, you're invited to the actual marriage supper of the Lamb that's waiting for us in the book of Revelation.
Okay.
The actual, because there is going to be a literal banquet. We're using this as a parable right now to bring people into the church. But when it comes time for the dead to be raised and for God to make the creation anew and for all those that were, alive in Christ to be, brought into heaven, when it comes to the actual marriage supper of the Lamb, there will be people that were invited. The king will see this one or whoever not wearing wedding clothes and asks him to be tossed out. So what does that mean? I'm invited, but if I'm not dressed properly, I'm going to get kicked out of heaven?
I think that they came in maybe not knowing what they were getting themselves into.
Maybe they didn't take their faith walk seriously.
Maybe. Okay. Well,
because the way I look at it is it's like you were invited, now act like it.
Yeah.
But
then Pastor Bernard, he's like, Jesus wants his house full. I mean, he wants a full house. And there's no VIP guest list. There's no exclusions. Mm-hmm. And then he said this, which was, I really enjoyed it. He says, aren't you glad Jesus didn't pass over you when he was sending out invitations?
Yep.
I mean, that's where we have to okay. Yeah. And we're kind of setting the stage for this whole Christian life. It's right. About relationships. We've said it time and time again. It's about these relationships that God wants to have with you. Your Christian life. God is saying, I want to be in relationship with you. Are you lonely? Mm-hmm. Come on in. Yeah. Are you sad? Come on in. Mm-hmm. Are you, brokenhearted? I know. Come on in. Yeah. And so all people, and so we have a society that's filled with lonely, worn down, hungry, for something real. Mm-hmm. And they're not necessarily looking for religion. They're looking for love, joy, and peace. And he talked about that. Mm-hmm.
People aren't hungry people aren't hungry for a liturgical teaching on the body of Christ. Yeah. People want to be loved. It's our podcast.
Okay, it's our podcast. We live in a world where it's like, well, I'm going to go search the interweb for a dominating, powerful message all the time. Mm-hmm. And there are amazing message. But then I meet these people that are like, this was amazing, but you're still lonely and brokenhearted. You're having a relationship with somebody that doesn't even know who you are.
On a screen.
I mean, except for this podcast.
This podcast is different.
But they're good, but they only can give so much. You can only open up the door to saying, okay, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. Like, we want this podcast to be where it's like, okay, if this is how Christians are and this is what they talk about, okay, maybe I could fit in too.
Exactly. Yeah. Come in the door.
And so we have people that are looking just to be loved for who they are. Yeah. And they're looking for peace and saying, okay, you said there's peace. Well, yeah, here. Read your Bible, do this, that, and the other thing. Or just rest. I'm just so tired of the world coming at me. Yep. And so, I think he mentioned authenticity. That's really what people are looking for. And that's what happens when you're at a table more than 30 seconds. Right. Right? Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what our whole thing is about with this podcast is like, you're invited, come on in. We want to make it easily accessible for anybody at any space to, if they're not entirely comfortable with going to church quite yet, to learning about it wherever you're at. Because that's the whole point of we heard a message from John Maxwell the other day of meeting people where they're at. Yeah. You can't just expect people to come to you, right? You got to go to them.
Don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do know who you are.
But I don't want to go over there. Some people want you to come to them.
Yeah.
Because that's how they're going to get the invitation. Like the servant says, the master told the servants, go out
Yeah.
and invite people.
So so even if you're like afraid to go to a church, if you're like, hey, Will, I want to go check out this church. Let's just go. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go together.
Let's go together.
Sure.
And you're like, okay, I'll go if you go.
Yeah. Yep.
And so it goes across the board. You don't have to, and you don't. Guess what?
What?
You don't have to go back.
Ah.
You can walk into a church and you're like, no.
Yeah.
Because there are churches like that where you just don't feel the love of God. I mean,
not that it's not there, but it's not for
all
you.
churches aren't perfect.
Yeah, I went to a couple churches not too long ago where I was just kind of like, no, I'm good.
Good people.
Good people, great. And nobody was offended.
Go figure. They didn't come chasing down the street with you?
They didn't cry.
So invitations, they were talking about, so the idea is invitations. And he said this, he said, invitations change destinies.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if you have a story, I have a story. I even thought about it in the message when he brought this up. If it hadn't been for the one person who invited you to church, you wouldn't be here now. And I was like, oh, shoot, I remember who it was that invited me to church.
Okay.
Funny enough, they're not a Christian themselves, but it was youth. So lots of people kind of, they start off in the same place but end up going in different directions. Like, you ever run into somebody from high school or like even middle or elementary school, and you're like, how did you end up on that track of life?
Yeah.
So we're all going to church in middle school, and I was the only one that kind of stayed on the straight and narrow, and everybody started going off and doing their own thing in the worldly. But yeah, I remember who it was that invited me to the Bayside Bee Ridge campus for youth when I was in 6th grade, and I still remember it. Do you remember who invited you to church for the first time? Or if you just kind of stumbled your way in?
I just kind of fell.
You fell in the front door?
In the front door. We were looking for God, and the only God that I knew about was this church that we visited in 3rd grade, and it was still there, and we're like, hey, let's go check it out. And when we walked in, the pastor was still there, and he's like, hey, wow. Chris, oh my God, I remember you. How are you? And this is Joyce, and we're dating, and he's like, come on, welcome back, welcome in.
Yep.
And he welcomed, and it was like,
exactly,
okay,
yeah,
this is my home.
Yeah,
I'm back home.
Feels home.
Oh, wait a minute, I never had a home before.
Exactly,
so that was awesome. In John 1:39 through 42, Peter's entire future changed because somebody simply said, "Come and see."
Yeah.
What is that? What is that reference? That verse is.
Well, that's when Jesus is inviting all of the disciples. A lot of it was just like, "Follow me," right? And it's funny because it describes it as like Jesus wandered up to them, said 2 words, and then they immediately dropped everything and ran after him.
Okay.
Okay. It's like you need cultural context, but it really was pretty simple. I mean, like, Jesus goes to see Peter and his brothers, and he says, cast the net on the other side of the boat. No. And then there was this enormous load of fish.
Jesus, we've been here all night long and haven't caught anything. But because you said so, I will let down the nets.
You know why they listened to him and they followed him is because Jesus was, obviously some of the disciples would refer to him as rabbi.
Yeah.
Because he would dress like a rabbi. So from a visual standpoint, the very first thing you'd see is this guy walking towards you. He had like a special robe that he wore. It's like, oh, that's a rabbi. And a rabbi was considered like the number one like head honcho in Jewish culture at the time. So
in the Old Testament, when they talk about judges and stuff like that, they were like the king.
Yeah, pretty much.
They were like the boss of everybody. Yes. I don't understand how they became the boss. I know a couple got anointed.
Yes,
blah, blah, blah,
right.
Blah.
God,
but it was a whole different structure where the
absolutely
most spiritual guy, was in charge.
And if that person said, "Come follow me," you'd go, "Holy cow!" That would be like if Pastor Randy came up to you and said, "Hey, come follow me.
Coming out, let's do some.
Let's work together."
Yeah, let's work together.
You'd be like, oh my gosh,
I'd be like, I don't know, I got.
I've got my own thing going on. It's pretty cool.
I'm pretty pissed off at you about the other week when you didn't have that Bible on the pulpit.
Exactly. You bring your iPad. You don't bring your Bible up there.
Yeah. Did you notice in the last couple months? Did you notice today?
It
was. They had it on there.
Never open it.
Yeah.
Well, it's for show.
But I get it. The idea though, it's like no, there's Bibles right here.
Right.
I'm giving a message.
Yes.
That's written out.
Right. Of course.
You know.
Because it's weird if you don't see a Bible on the pulpit.
Yeah.
During a sermon.
Don't you guys use the Bible?
Yes, we do. It's just on my iPad.
Yeah.
I've copied and pasted it.
Yeah.
That's all. But that's like if a Randy or a Bernard were to come up to you and say, let's do discipleship together, you'd be like, holy cow, yeah, like the leader of our church. And so all that being said is like when Jesus was giving these people an invitation, let's say you're well known for your candor, or you just give off the spirit of joy and you have the fruits of the Spirit in your life. You're a liked person. You're a likable guy or girl, and you say, hey, let's do something together. People will want to follow you. They'll want to accept your invitation.
Okay.
Lay it on me, Chris.
So, for hundreds of years, it's like, okay, here's my Bible. Let's open the Bible. Let's read it. And we'd give the message because that's just all you had. Mm-hmm. We live in a world that's everything's changed.
Yeah.
There's a point here.
Okay.
So, like with the Bible, it's like, yes, it's here. We use it every day long. But I also have this electronic thing where I can write out my message, papers, blah, blah, blah. Well, the same thing happens with just invitation, too. I mean, the world has changed.
Yeah.
You don't have to, write down this formal thing. I mean, you can text a group of your friends and just say, hey, I'm going to church today. You want to come?
Yeah.
You can text somebody. There's nothing illegal about that.
Right.
And we as believers need to go to where people are at.
Yep.
Like my son talks when he was starting his church in California. He's like, people, the church is on their phone, man. I mean,
oh yeah.
And people, you walk around and people are on their phone all day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yes.
If they're not in the middle of a conversation,
right.
Some people try to talk to you while you're talking. It's crazy.
It's annoying.
It's, totally.
But that's where people are.
And so making this adjustment, saying, hey, I want to go to church. I can text or I can Instagram or I can do whatever.
Yep.
It's okay. There's nothing illegal.
Yeah, because we want to make the invitation irresistible and very easy. So like nowadays you can go on the church's Instagram. Every church has an Instagram or a Facebook page.
Do we have an Instagram in our church too?
Oh yeah, we have an Instagram, we have a Facebook, we have a TikTok, we have a LinkedIn, we have a MySpace even. No, but we got our own TV channel. You want to make the invitation easy and irresistible.
But what Bernard went to, he says your invitation might feel small, but when you're doing it out of obedience, when God's weight is on it, God's weight is on obedience, is what he actually said.
Yeah, because it makes it very potent spiritually.
Right.
You
never know who you're talking to.
Yeah,
and like he said, and so that's the whole thing. Come and see, and all right, let's go.
All right, yeah.
And so you may be talking to someone and they've always wanted to go, but they're not going to ask you.
Exactly.
And you say, hey, I'm going to go to church. You want to come with me this week?
Okay.
I was thinking I probably need to be better at my men's groups. So say, hey, man, I'm going to men's group. You want to come and see?
Yeah. You want to make it fun and cool.
You want to see how bad I can butcher up this lesson?
Yes.
And so, but it's... When you do it in obedience, God takes care of it. Then you don't have to worry about whether they come or not.
Right.
John 13:34 says that love would be the defining mark.
Yeah, defining mark of Christians. If you're a Christ follower, you'll have, like I was saying earlier, the fruits of the Spirit. And if people see that, they'll want to follow it, and they'll go, what's up with you? And then when you offer them that invitation, they're a lot more likely to if I was a total curmudgeon to you all year long and then suddenly I invited you to come to my church and because I say that it's changed my life, they're going to go, I don't want to be changed like you.
You're kind of a dick.
I don't want to be what you are. Exactly.
Yeah. And I don't want that. And how many Christians do we know that they're afraid for growth because they're afraid, God's going to turn them into something.
Ooh, God forbid.
Yeah, God. And so it's not about making an argument. It's not arguing with people like, you need to go to church.
Right.
No, how about this? Would you like to come to church with me? No? Okay. Let me know if you ever do.
Right.
But I really want you to. So I'm going to ask you again next week, But it's not a fight. It's not.
Right.
It's not. identity. It's not your identity doesn't matter what
Yeah.
I think about God.
Exactly.
And too many old school Christians, they're like, don't you know what this makes? What are you saying, that I'm wrong? No, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I don't want to be like you.
Right. It doesn't reflect on you.
Yeah.
It's just between them and God.
Right.
And you're just here to be the vessel.
Right. And we live in a world that it's yes or no.
Yeah.
But love opens doors that sermons can't.
Exactly.
And I mean, again, you go back to someone's like, they were like, I've always wanted to go to a church.
Yeah.
Just nobody's ever asked me.
Right.
They say, did you ever see when they do that at a sermon when they go, how many people here were just
Invited.
walked in?
Yeah.
5 people in there. How many people showed up because of an ad on Facebook? 2 more people added. How many people were invited by a friend?
Yep.
Build.
That's the idea. It's like a marketing campaign is only going to go so far, right? Because we have, like Bernard said it today, how many of you were invited from a church sign? Everybody's seen the corny church sign. Like it'll say, Jesus is the light, Matthew whatever. Or
what's missing from this sign? And it has a CH blank blank CH.
Yes.
You are.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, oh, all right, that's corny, I guess. And
now,
you don't go.
Now, I do have to admit, the church that I first started going to, it was on a corner of Bagley and Fry Road, which was a quarter of a mile was the highway, the entrance rate.
Oh,
and it was on the right-hand side, which is always better going to the highway to be on the right-hand side. And there was a stoplight right in front of the sign. And they would put some signs out there, and people would actually say, I read your sign every week, and finally I'm like, I wanted to come in. I wanted to come in. I mean, it was one of the coolest signs ever.
Just geologically, it was perfect.
It was perfect. We tried to do that at the new building that we built.
Yep.
Electronic sign.
Look at how cool we are.
People are like,
you got to have the geography. You got to be stopped, and you got to look at it. Because if you just blow past it, you're not going to, whatever, Colossians, who cares?
But it was amazing. But for the most part, people
are invited.
Come because you invited them. So some practical ways to invite people.
Well, one of the big ones that he said is before you even invite the first person, pray about it. Because you might not have the nicest face on. Tell your face to be joyful. Tell your face.
He said that today.
Yes, he said joy and tell your face. Tell your face to be happy. Because some people, they'll hit you with you want to come to church? And you go, not really, actually.
Really.
No, because when you say it like that, I want to go less now. So you got to tell your face. You got to pray and pray how to invite people and pray who should I invite.
Yeah.
Ask God first before anything in your life, really. Ask God first. Pray about it. And then.
And if they say, I'm going to this other denomination, you don't go, well, that's, those
you're
people
Lutheran. Oh, God.
They're all going to hell anyway.
Still
Why would you go to
Lutheran?
that church?
Yeah.
I mean, because there's people that love their traditional church.
There's been this Lutheran church. I used to go to the VBS there when I was like 5 or 6. And I've always loved the way that it looks. It's like enormous. And it's right down the street from where I live. And I've always been like, I want to just go back there. Just to one service. Just to see
what,
just to see what it still looks like. If it's still just as old and run down as it used to be.
The people are the same old people.
Same old people.
They're just older.
Yes. 80s carpet, ancient projector and all this. But
what did he mean by personalize the invitation?
Well, you want to make the invitation personal. I don't know. I mean, that seems pretty straightforward. Because when you invite people, like, you could send out a text blast to 80 people like it's a sales call or something. You're going to optimize the efficiency. And it's like, no, you got to invite them.
Hey, Will,
yes.
Would you like to go to church with me?
Right. You're inviting them.
I will meet you there.
Yes.
I'll pick you up.
Exactly. You don't want to just invite a bunch of...
But you wouldn't ride with them because you got your own new truck.
I have my own new truck. Not the 1967 Impala anymore. But you want to make it very like, no, I'll pay for your lunch after, or I'll do this for you.
We'll go to lunch.
We'll go to lunch after. Yeah. Church and lunch. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so they were saying use the Christmas season to your advantage. I mean, this time of year, people are like...
People show up.
They'll show up. They're like, yeah, it's Christmas. I'll go to yours. I don't care. I'll go to that one. This one, I definitely go on Christmas. Share your story, what Jesus has done for you.
That's your testimony. Everybody's got one.
Talk about an elevator testimony. What does that mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the most important things a Christian can do.
Sure. So, obviously your testimony evolves with every new season of your life. And for some things, they're so important that you might want to include them in your testimony. But the idea of an elevator, like an elevator pitch, they teach you in sales, is the time it takes to go from like the ground floor to the top floor on an elevator. If you just happen to run into somebody in the elevator and you need to pitch them and sell them on something in the amount of time it takes to go up to the top floor, that's what you need to get good at. Tighten it up. Do the same thing for your testimony. So in just a couple minutes, make your life story clear and concise, get to the point so that you can convey a personalized story to people quickly and efficiently. Mine kind of, you can change it to whoever you're talking about, but that's kind of what I'm good at. But mine is mostly, if it's like someone that's not, has a drinking problem. Yeah, I've been sober a bunch of years now, kind of got in trouble, joined the Navy, found God, got sober in the Navy, ended up going to a church after that, ended up hanging out with my wife. Come to find out she was looking for God. We ended up walking into this church, and we've been at the same church ever since. And God's changed everything. Boom.
Boom.
There you go.
I got a drinking problem and I have a woman problem.
Yeah.
Hey, my wife was going to leave me, and I went to church and met Jesus.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go through the 4 spiritual laws. Right. So I met Jesus, and that's when they go, well, how did you meet Jesus? Right. Was he like at the front door shaking your hand? And then you can laugh and joke, and you can say, well, no, he was actually the guy standing at the front door is like a really cool guy, and he shakes everybody's hand. But no, it's a little bit deeper than that, and I'd love to get together and talk with you. But right now, it's your floor. Get
off.
Get off, man, because I got to go meet my boss.
Yeah. It's so easy sometimes. I mean, and then of course it's like if you're, more naturally introverted, sometimes that doesn't roll off the tongue as easily, but
it doesn't have to be complicated. Hey, you want to go to church with me? You want to go to church this Sunday?
Yeah. And everybody has different ways of communicating, and everybody has a different elevator testimony.
Yeah. Or text, because I use a lot of words in my texts. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, I've noticed that you do that all the time. Let me read some of your texts.
People hate my texts. I had a friend that so frustrated with me on Tuesday.
Yes. Same here.
He was asking me this question and I was answering, yes. He goes, it wasn't a yes or no question.
You've done that to me.
Are you going to pick me up? Yes.
God, dude. Here we go. Here's a great. You had messaged me. Are you going to be writing anywhere this afternoon? Yeah, I'll probably be at Foxtail if you want to join. What time? 6 p.m. is usually when I get there. And he goes, what? And I said, you're impossible to text sometimes, I swear. You responded, it keeps you young. I respond, so 6? And then you go, I need to check with the wife. Check spelled CHK. And then you never said anything else after that.
And I showed up.
You did show up. But you were a hell of a lot harder to get there than if it were somebody my age. I'll say that.
Wasn't it like, yes, somebody I can meet you there from 6 until 7, right?
Yeah, no, you were just like, hey, are you coming tonight? You grunt at me.
Don't do that when you're inviting someone.
Don't do what Chris does, exactly. Here's an example of what not to do. So you're supposed to make it personal. You're supposed to make it easy to show up, and you're supposed to make it friendly. It's not difficult to do so. And again, take advantage of the Christmas season because the CEOs are all going to make their appearance again. Christmas, Easter, and one other.
Yeah.
They go 3 times a year. So the Christmas of the sea is upon us. So people are going to show up. So use this time of like, hey, it's Christmas. We have a Christmas candlelight service. Do you want to come to mine? People will be more than likely to say yes any other time of the year.
Yeah. And so make it simple and then trust God with the results. Yeah. It's really not up to you.
Right. Exactly. It's super easy if you just offload the burden onto God because he's a lot better at doing things than you are.
Go figure.
Yeah.
And then when we invite, it's not about us. It's about Jesus. Here's the thing, man. If we just share with people how Jesus changed our life And if you want to, I mean, that's really at the end of the day. It's what the Bible studies are for. That's what small groups are for. It's like, this is what Jesus done for me, and I think he can do it for you too.
It's so easy.
In Jesus' word, Matthew 11:28, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And even saying that, the Bible talks about going to God, and he'll relieve some of that stress you got going on.
How do you go about doing that?
Doing what?
Relieving stress by going to God.
Well, I have, in the last couple of months, I have decided that my quiet time is more important in the first thing in the morning. So I get up actually even earlier than because I need more time with God.
Yeah. Hey, good for you.
And I'm not walking and reading or exercising and reading. I'm just sitting there having my quiet time, and then I can go do everything else. That, and Joyce and I were just talking. I've been stressed out about this car wash and stuff like that, and so I'm just like, okay, God, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Just tell me the next right thing to do, and I'm going to try it. And I've said this before. The last couple of weeks have been better, but I'm just trying to obey my way out of this.
That's a great way to put it. Obey my way out of this. For any struggle in life.
Any struggle.
Obey your way out of it.
And that's all the Bible's talking is like, here's some bullet points on how to live your life, which the Bible is, right?
Yeah, if you open it up to page 300, there's a bulleted list that Moses wrote. Yeah. Yeah, I would say, that's obey my way out. I really like that. And let this be an invitation. If you are thinking of going to church for Christmas, you will find that hanging around Christians, living the Christian lifestyle, will make your life I shouldn't say that it'll make life easier, because sometimes it makes life harder being a Christian.
You start going, oh, crap, I can't do that anymore.
You suddenly are facing adversity, spiritual, attacks.
But you will have a sense of, wait a minute, there's something out there bigger than me and bigger than my problems.
Yes.
And my problems are small. He can help me work through this problem. I got this huge problem in my life right now.
Yes.
And it's like, I am trying to do my best, and it's not working. Okay, right. God, you're going to have to give me an idea, and I'm just going to trust you.
Yeah. And he will take it.
You don't learn that
right
sitting on a fishing pier on Sunday morning.
Exactly.
You learn that sitting around listening to, a pastor or a man of God, a man pointing to Jesus.
Right.
Or a woman pointing to Jesus.
Favorite person of faith. That's what we say these days.
He also said this at the end. He says, people are tired. They're carrying more than they ever were meant to carry. Mm-hmm. And Jesus is still setting the table.
Ooh,
and so
that's good. Jesus is still setting the table. He's preparing a place for you in heaven. It's like you can go there if you want.
And he's preparing a place for me in the morning to sit there and say, okay, I write out my letter and I'm to God, and I'm like, okay, I feel better. Yeah. I'm like, okay, this doesn't seem that big. Okay, by 6 o'clock, I'm like, I got this going on, I got that going on, and it's like, okay, sit down and write down the list of all the horrible things that are in your life, and I'm like, oh crap, there's only like 2.
Exactly. But compared to the innumerable things to be grateful for.
And the same thing happens with me in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm thinking about stuff that I didn't think about all day long, but now it's catastrophe.
Suddenly it's the end of the world.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to get my Bible. I'm going to listen to my Bible. Boom. 3 verses later, I'm sleeping. Yeah.
In the beginning, God created the... Yeah.
But God will do the rest. So invite people to your church this holiday.
Yeah.
Maybe you invite yourself.
Oh.
Maybe walk in the door and just say, hey, you know what? I heard Will and Chris go, I should go to church. They're going, who, Will and Chris? Oh, some goofy
idiots
guys
on the internet.
On the interweb. And, but, go, or invite a friend to say, hey, let's go check it out.
Yeah.
Let's do an experiment. Joyce always says, let's just do an experiment.
Doesn't have to be anything.
Okay, the experiment didn't work. I didn't like it. We don't have to go back. You don't have to go back.
Yeah.
So.
That's like I'll end with this. I've mentioned it before. One of my favorite pastors, Philip Anthony Mitchell, says, if you have stumbled your way into this gathering, we are grateful to the unbeliever that has joined us here today. All we ask is that you would just give us 6 months and stick around for 6 months. We promise your life will be changed. But if after those 6 months nothing happens, then go as you will. But we challenge you, stick around for a little bit and see how your life has changed. We can make a guarantee if you keep showing up intentionally, your life will be changed. But there's no pressure. If you want to leave, you can leave.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So, love you. If we don't see you before Christmas, have a great Christmas.
Yeah.
But if not, show up to church and ask a friend to go with you.
Easy. Don't overcomplicate it. See you next week.
Peace.